Anthony Davis plays, and he's expected to be in the lineup tonight. The winner of tonight's Warriors-Grizzlies game gets the Rockets in the first round. The top-seeded Thunder await the second team to advance from this play-in tournament. OKC, the heavy favorite to win the West overall, not just the first round, at -150 over at ESPN Bet. Lakers host the Timberwolves game 1 Saturday night on ABC. Bobby Marks is back with us. Bobby, Luka torched these Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals last year. That was in Dallas. Now he's in LA. How can the Timberwolves contain him this time?
Yeah, it's pick your poison, right, Randy? I think you've got to make him turn into a jump shooter. You say, wait a minute, he made that big shot over Rudy Gobert last year, but I think the body of work this year against Minnesota, 41% from the field, 30% on threes. When you look at it, he is at his best getting to the rim. 79% getting to the rim on layups here. Turn him into a jump shooter, try to get the ball out of his hands, but there's really no way to stop him totally. You just got to slow him down here.
Do the Lakers need LeBron to be the best player in this series?
They don't, but they need him to be the closer. And I'm just going back to that Dallas game last week. It reminded me of like a 4x100 team when you basically had Luka set the tone, and then you had Hachimura and Austin Reeves basically in the middle. And basically, LeBron finished the game for you. And now is as fresh, coming off a back-to-back, that I've seen LeBron James in a long time. So if he's your closer, they're going to go pretty far in these playoffs here.
For the first month after the Luka Doncic trade, the Lakers were among the best defensive teams, not only in the Western Conference, but in all of the NBA. Since then, they've come back to the pack a little bit. Which Lakers defense do you expect to show up in this series?
Well, I think it's going to be the same Lakers defense that we saw right after the All-Star break that ranked in the probably top two in defensive efficiency here. It's going to be interesting, though, as far as what the size of Rudy Gobert, how do you kind of mitigate that? They're a big team. Well, you got Naz Reid and you got Julius Randle. Second chance points, can't get beat on the boards. They're 26th in rebounding, this Lakers team, where Minnesota is right in the middle of the pack here.
We're just bonding fathers and sons so far on SportsCenter. Peter Schrager, our NFL guy, our new best friend, earlier just said that his son watches before he goes to school. His son's 8 years old. You have a kid in school as well. He's just in college. Do you want to go ahead and espouse his fandom for this program as well while you're with us?
Listen, if I mention one, I got to mention the other. I got two, Randy. I got a freshman at USC, and I got a sophomore right now who's in high school. So he's already left. He's not watching SportsCenter right now. So of course I got to mention both of them.
Right, but taking attendance wasn't the issue. It was whether they watched the show.
I don't think my freshman at USC is up right now watching the show.
We can cut the feed. We can cut Bobby's feed.
He's watching something.
Thanks, Bobby. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Lakers, Wolves, split the season series 2-2. Haven't played since the last day of February.
Yeah, and those games are all meaningless because 3 of them came before the trade, and the one in February came with Gobert not playing.
Right.
So
okay.
It's hard to take anything away from any of them.
Well, I can take this away. Luka loves playing the Timberwolves.
He does.
I'm just going to tell you that right now. What did Luka get emotional? What really got in his feels when he's watching the tribute video?
That was a great answer.
Shut up, Gobert. I ripped his soul out and MF'd him up and down for the world to see.
I don't think he quite sounded like that. I don't think it quite sounded like that. I'm guessing.
What McMahon's referring to is in the post game from the return game to Dallas the other night. It was Luka asked, what got him crying, and he said it was the shot over Gobert, the just crowned 4-time Defensive Player of the Year.
What moment really hit him is that moment, and his point was it just symbolized that we were right there. We believe, blah blah blah, but also he loves playing the Wolves, and for whatever reason, he loves playing my pedicure partner. Oh, Rudy Gobert, I've seen him light him up on multiple continents. I mean, I've seen him light up France, I've seen him light up the Jazz, and I've seen him light up the Timberwolves. I don't know if the Jazz is on a different continent, but it feels that way when you go to Salt Lake City.
It's a fascinating matchup on so many fronts. Obviously, the Luka-Rudy history is a big part of that. But it's also, like, what have we been talking about with the Lakers from the moment they made the trade? They have no interior size, right? Now they're playing this Wolves team that lives in the paint. Not only do you have Rudy, they're playing some combination of him and Julius Randle and Naz Reid all the time, all big physical guys. I know Naz and Julius shoot some threes, but like this is a team that's built on size inside and size on the wings and size all over the place. And obviously that is awfully interesting going up against this Laker team that is essentially living with a bunch of 6'7" guys running around all the time. And, you know, how that battle inside plays out, I mean, it's safe to say to me is going to determine how this series is going to go from start to finish. And like you said, if you're the Lakers and you're Luka, you're going to feel pretty good about your history against Rudy and that winning out in the end.
Well, look, the Wolves were in the conference finals last year. They are a team that has proven that they can get it done in the playoffs and is a difference-making player. If you're the Lakers, you got to feel okay about your draw. You are obviously on the opposite side as the Thunder. You are getting a Wolves team that has been good down the stretch, but certainly not a team you look at and say, boy, that's a mountain to scale. The Lakers, I haven't seen any numbers yet. They'll probably be firm favorites, although that doesn't matter with the Lakers. The Lakers will be favored as the 8th seed.
When you say good down the stretch for the Timberwolves, you mean of the season. You don't mean of games, because this is a team that struggles mightily to close games, specifically to protect leads, as we saw when Milwaukee came back from 24 down against them the other day. If it's a close game down the stretch, the Lakers have a massive advantage, especially with like two of the most brilliant basketball minds of all time that will have the ball in their hands to them. Where
they did win 9 of 11 games coming down the stretch. The one loss that they had last week was to the Bucks, where they got outscored 40-13 in the fourth quarter and blew a 24-point lead. They are very fortunate that loss did not cost them have cost them into the playoff or into the play.
Yep.
It was not the hardest schedule down the stretch. They had 2 games with the Nets in the last 10 days of the season. And
they had a super easy run and took advantage of it. But yeah, look, I mean, they're a high variance team in every way. They can look really good at times. They also have games where they've lost to Utah this year. Like they're all over the place. But like you said, going into the playoffs last year, not exactly a perfect comparison, because I think this Lakers team is clearly better than that Suns team was. But going into that series with Phoenix, another team didn't have a ton of pop inside. Another team with a couple big-time perimeter scorers. A lot of people thought Phoenix was going to win that series. Some thought comfortably. And the Wolves went in and smacked them. Now, I do not think the Wolves are going to do that to the Lakers at all. I think this is going to be a long series. But, you know, Minnesota has, like you said, that run last year showed they're capable of stepping up in a big spot. And it's just going to be an immediate, fascinating test of the obvious hole in the Laker roster we've talked about, going back to the rescinded Mark Williams trade. And even before that, when they made the Luka trade, that they didn't have size inside. Now they're going up against one of the biggest teams in the West.
Well, and the loss to Utah, by the way, was when Ant was suspended for 16 Ts. And then that's why Utah lobbied for him not to be suspended again for this one. Just to be clear, and this is important, for both the Wolves with Ant and for the Lakers with Luka. Luka will get a T here and there. Sometimes they'll get rescinded. Usually if it's going to be a suspension, they always do. But the technical fouls thing resets. Everybody's at 0. You get 7 in the playoffs. I think they can both get through this series without being suspended.
We'll talk more about some of the playoff matchups during the week. Full disclosure, I got to get to the airport. Second the Masters about going to a playoff. Before we go, Bontemps, you had some news out of Philly today. Daryl Morey spoke and delivered a verdict. We were a little, I wasn't saying surprised. There was mystery what was going to happen in Portland. What ended up happening was Joe Cronin and Chauncey Billups got extensions.
Hello, xin chào các bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh YouTube của mình. Bây giờ mình sẽ đi tô màu để gửi tặng đến các bạn. Mình mong rằng các bạn khi xem video của mình thì sẽ có những phút giây thư giãn. Và để làm được video tô màu thì mình cần chuẩn bị những dụng cụ. Đây là những sản phẩm mình in sẵn để mình dùng để tô màu.